Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to go over some of the biggest news stories of the past week. As usual, let's go ahead and start off with the cryptocurrency market update. You can see that a lot of the top 10 has been down, some significantly over the past week. You can see Bitcoin is currently trading at around $96,000, trying to get back up to that $100,000 level. We've definitely been chopping around really for the last several months, but it's kind of been between that $90,000 to $105,000 range or so. So we're looking to see if we're going to continue to stay in this somewhat accumulation phase. If we see that Bitcoin starts to come down below 92, 91, going to 90 and below, then that could be an indicator of us having a change in direction towards the downside. But that hasn't happened, so we'll continue to obviously keep you posted. But right now, Bitcoin is currently down 4.59% over the past 7 days. Ethereum is currently trading at $2,600. It has fallen below that $3,000 level. It is down 16% over the past week. So a lot of Ethereum holders are hoping that at some point it will come back towards that $3,000 and $4,000 level that it was at last year, but it definitely has underperformed Bitcoin over the past year and a half or so. XRP is down 17% at $2.41. Solana now under $200, down 7.76%. And then we have Dogecoin, still the largest meme coin of them all, trading at 25 cents. It's down nearly 19%. Then we have Cardano and Tron rounding out the top 10. So one of the bigger news stories internationally that came out this past week is that the Czech Republic now exempts Bitcoin from capital gains tax if holders hold on to their Bitcoin after 3 years. So this new legislation is expected to spark financial growth. The Czech Republic has been known to be a very future forward looking country. It has embraced Bitcoin and blockchain technology for several years now. It also has allowed Bitcoin businesses to flourish in the country and allowing them to have financial services and a local bank account. And now they're rewarding holders by allowing those folks who decide to hold on to Bitcoin for at least 3 years, they will not be taxed with the capital gains tax. So this is definitely a big development in the Czech Republic and in Europe, and that area is known to not necessarily embrace blockchain, but when you look at countries like the Czech Republic, they're definitely one. Switzerland is another one that continues to embrace cryptocurrency companies that are coming into the region. So we'll definitely keep an eye out for that to see how many more countries are going to become more of a willing participant in creating opportunities for cryptocurrency businesses. Next up, we see that we are one step closer to another state adding potentially Bitcoin to their strategic reserve. So we're now to around 18 states that have some type of proposal that has been written up and will be placed in, or I should say through the legislative process. And so right now we see that Utah is the latest to have cleared a digital assets bill, and it has gone through the state house. Now we know with government things can move quite slowly, but we are starting to see an indication that not only is the federal government potentially looking into a strategic reserve holding Bitcoin, but we're also seeing that individual states are looking to add Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And so when you look at nearly 35% of the United States are actually looking and have proposals on the table to potentially invest into Bitcoin and some even other cryptocurrencies, it just goes to show that we are in this burgeoning asset class that continues to see growing demand. So when we're starting to see growing demand coming into this finite supply asset, when you see that US dollars, including other fiat currencies around the world, continue to have inflation. In the US, they're saying it's around 6 to 8% per year. Obviously, those numbers can be questioned, but you're seeing other countries around the world, some much higher at 20, 30, 50% per year inflation. And when you look at Bitcoin, you see that every 4 years, with that 4-year cycle, the minting of Bitcoin, the amount of Bitcoin that is rewarded to miners continues to get cut in half, and we'll have about 99% of all of the Bitcoin mined, I believe, somewhere in the next 10 years or so, 10 to 12 years. So once that happens, basically all of the Bitcoin that is available is going to be available for all to have access to. And now you're starting to see that because that demand continues to grow from several US states to nation states to obviously people like me and you, retailers, we're seeing more and more institutions and private companies that are interested in investing in Bitcoin. You can see how people are expecting that Bitcoin could see some very high prices in the future. Speaking of private companies that have, or I should say companies that have decided to put their strategy into buying Bitcoin, the biggest strategy company in the world is now called Strategy. So Microstragy, which is now changed to Strategy, as you can see here, they are the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company. They are also an enterprise software solutions company, and they have now moved most of their focus. They still have that underlying business, but most of their focus is now on accumulating Bitcoin, and they are considering themselves the largest and first treasury company for Bitcoin. And it is the largest holder as a publicly traded company of Bitcoin, having over 471,000 Bitcoin, and they continue to accumulate. They just had their Q4 2024 earnings call, and they continue to plan on strategizing and accumulating as many Bitcoin as possible. Will not be surprised that obviously they'll get to 500,000 plus by the end of 2025. And so now they're working on opportunities to be able to leverage that Bitcoin into more opportunities for their shareholders. And so they've created a new website. You can see strategy.com right here, and you can learn a lot about what the treasury company is working on. One of the things that you can note here is that they have a metrics page that goes over all of the metrics that they have related to the amount of debt that they have, the assets that they have. You can look at the different charts and the performance of the company as well as the performance of Bitcoin. You can see their history of purchases as well. So this gives you a bird's eye view of all the information and the KPIs, also known as key performance indicators, that help retailers as well as institutions to understand how to evaluate this company. So another cute thing that I thought was interesting is that they're also selling gear, which some have already sold out. I actually like these socks. Those are kind of cool. But you can also buy some strategy now that they've changed it to, obviously, orange is the color of Bitcoin. And so they have a very sleek and clean look with this strategy with the Bitcoin B. And so it's definitely an interesting site just to kind of peruse and look to see what they have going on there. But obviously you'll get a chance to learn more about what's going on with their strategy, how much Bitcoin do they continue to accumulate, and how are they going about accumulating that Bitcoin. So we'll definitely continue to keep an eye out for strategy. Now, I thought this was an interesting post here on X. Shout out to Stackholder. You can see here that we're looking at a chart of Bitcoin versus this is the gold chart and this is the Bitcoin chart. And you can see here that gold is up 8,122% since 1935. And Bitcoin is up around the same amount since 2017. So it just goes to show you that the rate of incline, the rate of the uptrend as technology continues to get better and grow faster. This is the type of world that we're in now, is that technology obviously comes at a faster speed as we move forward in the future. And so you can see that the charts really don't look that different. Obviously you can see there's more volatility here with Bitcoin chart, but we're noticing that, and he makes the correlation in saying that gold is analog and Bitcoin is digital. And there is obviously some truth to that to a certain degree, because gold was looked as the original store of value, and now we have Bitcoin being looked at as the new gold. People call it digital gold. And so we're seeing that it is the new store of the nouveau store of value. So just something to consider as we continue to take a look back from a macro view of what's going on. We have to understand a little bit more about money to understand why Bitcoin is so valuable. Just a quick check here on the ETF tracker. We can see that BlackRock is the largest holder of them all, holding over 580,000 Bitcoin currently, with a market cap of around $56 billion. Fidelity in a far second at around $20 billion. And we can see here that Grayscale, they used to be number one when the ETFs first were publicly traded. They had over 600,000 Bitcoin. But because of this fee, as you can see here, a lot of people fled to go to other ETFs that had a much lower fee. And those fees obviously can make a huge difference when you're dealing with millions and tens of millions and sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. So their Bitcoin holdings have gone down around 66%. They're now at around 200,000 Bitcoin, but they did come out with a spin-off product called the Bitcoin Mini Trust. And you can see here amongst the top 6 or 7 that has a lower fee. So they're hoping, I believe, that a lot of their customers who have Bitcoin in their Bitcoin Trust will choose to go into their Mini Trust instead of going elsewhere. So we're seeing that Bitcoin is continuing to hold steady in that $90,000 to $100,000 range. Of course, we will continue to keep you posted here and on YouTube, as well as on X and IG. We thank you so much for taking the time to watch. We appreciate all of you, and please continue to keep posted, not only with us, but we look forward to hearing your comments and taking the constructive criticism, because we're trying to grow here. We're not going anywhere. We've been going solid every week for the past year and a half or so. So we look forward to continue to bringing you more content as we learn to invest and we learn to grow. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the network chain. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.